Hello, my name is Tara McPherson, and today we're covering returns and overlaps. Let's get started. So what a return is a flat piece of fabric going from that last pleat going back towards the wall, this measurement, okay? It's going to help with energy efficiency if you've got some drafty windows. It's going to increase your privacy, help with light control, and of course, make things look much more polished than box store. This little hook that's on the back, you can adjust it to be wherever you need it to be, and you would just slide it into an eye screw. Eye screws are readily available at most hardware stores. Alternatively, you could use a tenter hook, which is a product that Rolly sells. Just take a look at that if you're interested. When you're using existing hardware, for example, a rod with rings, you need to collect the measurement from where that pleat would hook into that ring going back towards the wall. It is vendor dependent, okay? When you go to a consultation, you must assume that many of the things that you see are going to be wrong, and just because they don't have a return in some situations doesn't mean that you should repeat that. You would definitely have a return here. Whenever you're using a double treatment where you have shears in the back and a nighttime drape in the front, ideally on that non-operational side, you'll want to have a return just to give a really nice finished clean look. Okay? It is vendor dependent, and even in the vendors, they're going to be having different size returns. Here it shows 3.5 inches. Okay, so here we have our H rails, but when you take a look at the regular brackets, those measurements are going to be different. And so you always must refer to your hardware guides when you're ordering your returns on your drapes. Sometimes you might not want to have a flat piece, but you'll want to use a French returning instead. And French returns are going to help the fabric go back to the wall nice and clean without having that flat piece. Ideally, when you're using pleats, you're going to be having no return. You'll have just the last pleat and then 1 little inch of fabric, okay? All right, so not every style needs a return. For example, with the wave, the fabric already comes back towards the wall. And the same thing is true for a grommet. Now these two neck styles, both the back tab as well as the rod pocket, they can't physically get back towards the wall, not without some help. So on those two styles, I recommend using a French return where the fabric can come back and kiss the wall. That's the only way really with those two styles that you can increase your privacy and light control. Let's jump over to what overlaps are now. So overlaps are going to be in the middle of your window, and it's going to look very much like a return when you get your drapes. So when you open them up, you need to just measure and make sure that you're not putting them backwards on what your track is. And also, they're not always on tracks. Sometimes I found them on rod with rings. So they have special rings that have fingers that go over top. Not every vendor has them, but if you see them, just know that they are out there in the land, okay? So again, you're going to have that little metal hook, and that would go into the finger of the master carrier. Overlaps, master carriers are interchangeable words, okay? Now these are vendor dependent. It is imperative that you check your hardware supplier to find out what that measurement is. It could be 4.25 inches, it could be 4 inches, it could be 3.5 inches, it could be 2.75 inches. It is vendor dependent. If you have any questions or concerns or want me to help you look over your orders and just double check everything, just by all means reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. Thanks again for learning more about returns and overlaps.